Lamar Jackson's biggest weakness just got exposed again. On August 19th, 80 minutes into a joint practice against the Vikings in Eagan, Minnesota, the man penciled in to snap him, the football went down. Danny Pinter left on a cart with a brace on his right leg, and Baltimore went silent. It was an ordinary 11-on-11 rep, until Pinter got rolled up on inside the pile and stayed down on the grass. Reporters on the scene said the medical staff went straight to his knee. Teammates dropped down around him, and the entire offensive line circled the cart while Jesse Minter, Baltimore's first-year head coach, sprinted over from the defensive field to check on his center. That's not a small detail, because head coaches do not sprint across 2 practice fields for a tweak. Then the cart rolled past the media area, and everybody got a clear look at that brace. After practice, the very first question Minter took was about Pinter, and he had nothing to give. No test results, no timeline, just a coach saying they would see how it shakes out. Now, Ravens fans, breathe, because there is real precedent for optimism here. On August 11th, cornerback Nate Wiggins got carted off a Baltimore practice field in what looked like a nightmare, and the tests showed no structural damage. He was back as a full participant on August 17th, and this team has been dodging bullets throughout training camp. But Pinter's history is what makes this one land differently, because he has already lost an entire season the exact same way. He broke his ankle in August of 2023 at training camp, and that was the whole year gone. To understand why a career backup center going down is even a story, you have to understand what Baltimore already lost, and that starts with Tyler Linderbaum. He made 3 straight Pro Bowls, becoming the first Ravens offensive lineman to do that since Marshall Yanda. And across 4 years in Baltimore, he posted the second-best pass block win rate of any center in football, trailing only Creed Humphrey. And on March 9th, he walked. Las Vegas gave him 3 years and $81 million with $60 million guaranteed, or $27 million a year, making him the highest-paid interior offensive lineman in NFL history. That is $9 million a year more than the previous record, so the Raiders didn't just reset the center market, they obliterated it. And Baltimore didn't lose him on money alone. The Ravens reportedly offered 4 years and $88 million, more total cash. But they would not agree to the 3-year term Linderbaum wanted, because 3 years lets him hit free agency again at 28. So he took the shorter deal with the bigger annual number, and Baltimore was left holding the most important communication job on their offense with nobody to fill it. So what was the replacement plan? A 1-year deal worth roughly $2.8 million for Danny Pinter on March 26th, followed by a 1-year deal for Ethan Pocic on July 17th, 12 days before camp opened. With Jovaughn Gwyn and Corey Bullock rounding out the room, Pinter had made 10 starts in 77 career games, while Gwyn and Bullock had never started one at all. That is the drop-off Baltimore is staring at, going from a top 5 center in football to an open audition. So let's name the weakness, because it gets misdiagnosed constantly. Lamar Jackson's ceiling is handcuffed to the 5 men in front of him, and Baltimore keeps testing exactly how far that handcuff stretches. Just look at the 2-year swing. In 2024, Jackson had the best pass protection of his entire career, going down on only 4.3% of his dropbacks, which works out to 23 sacks across 538 attempts. And what did he do with that clean pocket? He set career highs across the board, throwing for 4,172 yards and 41 touchdowns, playing like the best quarterback in football. In 2025, that protection collapsed. His sack rate nearly doubled to 9.8%. His pressure rate climbed to 37.1%, the worst of his career, and he took 15 sacks in the first 4 games alone before a hamstring injury knocked him out for a month. And this next number tells the whole story. In 2025, Jackson bailed out of the pocket on over 30% of his dropbacks, the highest rate in the entire league, but only 8.3% of those registered as actual bails, meaning he left early when he didn't have to. Over 90% of the time, he was running because he had no other option. By week 11, Baltimore's offensive line ranked dead last in the NFL in pass blocking efficiency. The result was a career-low 67 rushing attempts across 13 games, an 8-9 record, and no playoffs. And on January 6th, John Harbaugh, after 18 seasons and a Super Bowl ring, got fired. If you're enjoying this breakdown, hit subscribe, because we cover the AFC North and the stories nobody else connects. Now let's talk about why center is the position that decides Lamar's season. Because a center is far more than another blocker. Before the snap, he is the offense's brain, identifying the front, making the mic call, setting the protection, and sliding the line. Then he has to deliver a clean shotgun snap, while a 300-pound nose tackle sits 2 feet from his face. And after all of that, he still has to block the guy. Get any piece of it wrong, and Lamar Jackson is throwing on a broken timer. The grading data backs this up brutally. In the season, Pro Football Focus named Jackson its most valuable player. He graded out as the single best passer in football when he had at least 2.5 seconds to throw, and that tiny window is the entire margin. Drop below that threshold and his grade fell by roughly 14 points. He is untouchable with a clean pocket and merely very good without one, and that gap is worth an MVP trophy. Now, stack the context around him, because Baltimore is breaking in a first-year head coach, a 30-year-old first-time play caller in Declan Doyle, installing a brand-new offense, and a rookie first-round pick in Vega Jovaughn, starting at guard beside the center, all while Derrick Henry takes handoffs at a mesh point that has to be timed to the frame. Every one of those pieces leans on the guy making the calls in the middle of that line. And right now, that guy is a question mark with a brace on his leg. So who steps up? Option 1 is Ethan Pocic, who brings 97 career starts across 9 seasons in Seattle and Cleveland. Option 2 is Jovaughn Gwyn. And honestly, this is the name people are sleeping on. On the very next play after Pinter went down, Gwyn stepped in at center, blew open a hole up the middle of the Vikings defense, and threw rookie defensive tackle Dominique Orange to the turf, while Derrick Henry rolled through that gap untouched. Baltimore is not trading for a star center in late August because there isn't one available. Lamar Jackson does not have a weakness in his game. He has a weakness in his environment. And the Ravens have spent 2 straight off seasons proving they still haven't fixed it. Get it right, and Lamar Jackson is an MVP favorite again. Get it wrong, and we are watching the same movie for a 3rd straight year. Drop a comment below and tell me, Pocic or Gwyn? Who do you want snapping to Lamar in Week 1? Smash that like button. Subscribe for more AFC North breakdowns, and I'll see you in the next one.